Stay behind the camera. What is that? Okay, look. The trash is right there by the green car. But look, you can't come over here while we're shooting because we're shooting on camera, okay? Okay, so stay on the couch with Uncle Twizzy. All right? But the trash is by the green car.
Do you bring her to work-related things a lot?
Not a lot, but sometimes I do. And she's really good with like understanding and listening. So like she's never gonna come back over here.
Yeah, she's well behaved.
Yeah, she's super behaved. She don't complain, she don't cry, she don't really.
And she's only 3.
Yeah.
Only
Crazy.
3?
Yeah. She seems like way older.
That's because the way I've just already implanted, like, I used to sing to her mother's belly, and like, you know, I've already been like super ahead of the game with training her and just getting her to understand, like right now, if I be like, yo, what does your daddy do? She's like, oh, he's a singer. When your daddy go to work, he's at the studio or he's at an event.
Yeah.
So she's already just ahead of the game, teaching her how to pose on camera. There's pictures, we got a magazine to shoot. I've been training her the whole week. I've been telling her the whole week, we got a magazine to shoot on Saturday, so you gotta be ready. You know, so just putting her on game. So by the time she's 12 and 13, she's a professional.
Yeah, because people will see eventually, but you're the first person ever. We definitely had somebody, I feel like, maybe pull up with their kid before, maybe,
Right.
but not actually like bringing them in with the intention of having it.
Yeah, no, I'm highlighting her, especially releasing that song. I'm just like, all right, just be in the magazine with me, and then just to be able to frame that, you know, I'm gonna get it professionally framed. But for her to see that when she's 10 and understands a little bit more, and be like, wow, I'm on the cover of a magazine, you know, I think that's important.
For sure.
So the song, it's named after your daughter.
Yeah.
And kind of what is the song really, like why was it important for you to name the song after her? Why did that even come to mind?
It's crazy because I talked to a couple of people that I trust, like I would say my board of associates, and a lot of them was like, I thought you would do something more meaningful, lyrically more meaningful when it came to your daughter because of how much you care for her and stuff. But if you really listen to the song, it's really talking about all the things I've been through in the industry, all the things that I sacrificed to realize that my purpose is for her. So it sounds more aggressive when you see and meet my daughter, and she's so sweet, and she's so loving and mature and things like that. You would think I would write like a love song, you know, but in reality, my alter ego is fed up in a good way with all the sacrifices I made, and it's like, nah, I'm not playing. This is not a game. I have a whole daughter.
Right.
That's the point of the song. Like, I got a whole daughter.
Right.
Like, what you think I'm doing this for? That's the whole point of it. Like, what?
Is she your only child?
She's my only child. For now, I want more children.
Yeah, and like something I was gonna say about the record, in terms of like what the industry might have thought that you were gonna do or whatever, like I think it's really cool to look at a record that you can make about something so personal like that, but it's a hitter, like it's really banging.
Exactly.
That's something like Drake did, right? Like on that back-to-back record, for example,
Right.
like that was a diss record,
Right,
but it was a
sounded
club hit.
it sounded so fruitful and like more radio than you would expect a diss record to be.
Right, and so even in this case, it's like it's something deep, it's something personal, but you made it with that appeal to still hit, and someone can bang it in the club, and they're not even thinking
About,
deep. Yeah.
Don't think deep. I like to please people. So, you know, of course it'll be good to talk and sing and rap about all these ways I love her, but I think right now the sonics of the culture and the sonics of the music industry, they want to hear something that they can bang in different settings. And obviously, if you write a love song, you can't bang it in the club. If you write a club song, you can't bang it in the crib.
Right.
Or you can, but in most cases, you're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to pick and choose which vibe you're feeling in the moment. So I just think that, you know, from hindsight, you get to see how dedicated I am to my craft and who I do it for. That's why I named it after her, because all these things I've been through in that song that I talk about, I finally found like the sole reason why I do it. Because I was already dedicated way before she was born and before she was even thought of. But
kind of put that stamp on it.
that's the stamp, like, okay, I see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a big thing for me. It's a big thing to name a song after my daughter. And it's gonna be Knovi Part 10 by the time I'm done with everything. You know what I mean? It's not gonna stop.
Absolutely.
And one of them gonna be a love song. One of them gonna be a country song. One of them gonna be a pop song. You know, it'll all make sense eventually. But when I'm talking about why I'm doing this and why I'm not gonna stop, you're gonna get a Knovi Part 2 and a Knovi Part 3, 4, and etc.
That's fine. Just continuing the story.
Exactly.
So I have a question in regards to that, because you had brought up a couple genres there, right? Like, when I'm thinking Garren, I'm not necessarily thinking one genre at all. Give me a breakdown of that. Like, what started in terms of your music journey? Like, I know you have a church background, right?
Yeah.
But like, in terms of you making music, like, did you start with like super like singing stuff, R&B? Did you start more on hip hop? What do you prefer to do? Where does your interest lie and all that, you know?
Well, I'm a true musician, so I play multiple instruments. Like you said, I started off in church. I have this incredible auntie named Auntie Krista, who kind of nurtured and brought out the gift that God placed within my heart and in my soul and in my lifespan. And she brought that out, and don't take the word literal when I say force, but it was almost forced for us to tune in to our gift. So when I was playing instruments in church and singing in the choir and stuff like that, I was 8 years old when she told me that I have to produce my first song and write it and record it and do that. And I didn't understand. I was 8. I wanted to go outside and play with my friends, or I wanted to do this or do that, you know. So those simple things are what allowed me to be able to play, sing, write, rap, different genres, whenever or however I feel like doing it. So I don't really go off of what I want the world to view me as. I go off of what I am, and that is multi-talented, you know, multiple instruments, multiple genres, multiple singing structures and singing process that I use to get, you know, where I am today.
Right.
And it's just funny that everything that I've accomplished is not even about singing, it's about like rapping stuff. And I don't even rap, but I know how. And I can't rap better than a lot of these rappers.
Right.
But
like
that's
on
not
Knovi,
what I do.
Right, and even on Knovi, you really display that kind of more rap
Yeah,
style.
like
Obviously, there's melodic, but
right, it's just basically like it's a slight troll, because it's like, okay, this is what you want to hear. You want to hear this type of music.
right,
I'm gonna still say something real, but I'm gonna give you the sonics of what's happening and popping right now.
for sure.
So it's a slight troll,
Right,
because I got country records where I'm really singing and I can be somewhere in UK on some big stage, moving the crowd with no instruments, no MP3 track,
I've seen
no
it.
DJ.
I've seen it with my own
We
eyes.
can just go crowd and me.
Yep.
So, you're right, you just seen the tour I just got off, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just not afraid of this industry. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I've been prepared for over 20 years, and I'm only 28.
Okay, yeah, it shows, man, and it really does. And just in regards to you being so musically inclined and with your voice and instruments, it seems like a lot of people in this industry have really utilized you to showcase different talents in different ways. And one of my favorite things that I'll just talk about now with you that I saw is the Nas opportunity you had.
All right.
Like, just, I think your caption just said something like, this man hit, invited me, it was me, Nas, and hit, no industry, nothing, no blah,
security,
blah, blah.
yeah.
Can you just, and the reason I brought that up is because we're talking about being people really utilizing that, right? And in that regard, they just took a very small vocal sample of yours, right?
Right.
And just used it through the whole song.
Right.
So it's almost such a small thing, but it makes such a big difference. It gave you a Grammy nomination,
Right.
which would be your third time being Grammy nominated.
That's my third nomination. Yeah.
But I'm very passionate about Nas, so I'd love to hear that story. Like, what was that like for you?
So I met Hit Boy through 24 Hours, one of my good friends, and
Who you're going on tour with now, right?
who I'm about to go on tour with in 2 weeks, a week and a half, really. I met Hit Boy through Nas. I went to one of his shows. Actually, P&B Rock was there too. That was the day I met P&B Rock. The same day I met Hit Boy. The same day I met P&B Rock.
Wow.
And rest in peace to him. But I just told Hit Boy like, yo, bro, that's me singing on Dedication. I love to work with you.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
You sang on Dedication with Kendrick and
Nipsey. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I knew he was gonna do this.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna blow my mind. Wow.
Yeah, that's me singing.
So that's another Grammy nomination?
Right. That's my first ever Grammy nomination is Dedication.
What's the second?
Ooh.
The second is with J. Cole.
Oh.
For what?
On what?
Revenge of the Dreamers 3. I'm on Oh Wow Swerve. It's me, J. Cole, Jid, Smino, Buddy, and Guap Dad.
Wow. And you were at the Revenge of the Dreamers sessions and everything?
Yeah, I was there.
That's fire. Let's jump back to that. I kind of had interrupted. We got off track. with the
Right.
Nas story.
It's a lot. But I met him. I'm like, yo, that's me on Dedication with Nip and Kendrick, bro. I would love to work with you. Mind you, I've already been seeing Hit Boy throughout the years because I'm 1500 or nothing as well, which they done sold billions of records at this point.
Yeah.
Like probably literally.
Shout out to Rance and Mars.
Rance Mars,
Straight up.
Brody Brown,
Yeah.
James Fauntleroy,
James go crazy.
uh,
Shout out to Brody.
Uncle Chuck, Point, 1500 point guard, Fluff, G. It's so many people in 1500 nothing. My cousin Nick Smith, and there's so many people who came from 1500 or nothing. Whether it was just being around every day, or just being in the energy that was created, and that's still going on to this day. Like literally, there's a 1500 session somewhere happening in the world, and that's just the type of soil that I come from. But I seen Hit Boy a lot, just over the years, just growing, trying to get where I'm trying to go. And he basically was like, everybody had a guard up. So he's like, yeah, for sure, take my number. Like, for sure, we'll talk. But I'm such a persistent person. I hit him up like maybe once a month for like 10 months. And let's just say on the 11th month, he's like, all right, pull up to the stoop. And that day I pulled up to the stoop. I recorded some stuff over T Grizzly, over Dom Kennedy, and it made it to his Dom Kennedy, him and the record he got with Dom Kennedy. Yeah. I made it on that one.
This is recently, no?
No, this was like over a year ago.
Okay, somewhat recently.
So me and Hit Boy been locked in for like 2 years now. Like we're cool, and like that's my friend. When I see him, he shows me a lot of respect, and he also is like a big brother figure to me, and he always just tell me little small things, you know what I mean? Like super small. Like he's not even trying to be a teacher in the moment. It just happens to be something that I'm learning.
Right, just on some homie shit, big homie.
Just homie, like, and he's just like a big brother. He's just a big homie, like.
Yeah.
And then I hit him up a couple more times. It didn't work out. He was too busy or whatever, it's Hit Boy. And then one random time he just texted me like, yo, where you at? And I was like, I'm at a studio. What's good? He was like, well, come to the studio. I want you to come to the studio and lay some stuff on some records I got. I said, all right, cool. I'm already excited that Hit Boy is hitting me up to come work.
Right.
I walk in there and Nas and Hit Boy. It's just Nas and Hit Boy. So I'm like,
in his spot, right?
In his spot, yeah.
Just them two?
Just them two. I'm like, what?
And you're by yourself?
By myself. I mean, you gotta be by
can't
yourself
come
with Hit
in-
Boy.
yeah.
You gotta be by yourself with Hit Boy.
Oh my
But
God.
I'm in the
Crazy.
studio with him and Nas, and Hit just give me the respect and that equality of being an artist and feeling important in the room, and not just like, yeah, I got this background singer dude.
Right.
He actually said like, yo, this is the homie Garren, it's the little homie Garren. He sing, he an artist, he dope. And Nas looked me dead in my eye like, what's up, bro? Like, boom, boom, boom. And I recorded those vocals in like 5 minutes. Recorded myself as well too.
I believe it.
So Nas and Hit Boy sitting there looking. Nas turned to Hit Boy like, yo, bro, it's really talent everywhere.
Right.
And Hit Boy like I told you.
He looking at him like,
I ain't gonna bring no goofy in here,
Right.
basically. Like,
he got the secret weapon.
and I just, that was a big moment for me. And Hit Boy don't even notice, because I never actually be able to have a conversation. Last time I seen Hit Boy, we was with the game, and it was like very public, so it was kind of hard to have a personal conversation. But
Was that like moment where you were brought into that session? Like you said, Hit Boy knew he was bringing someone legit in there. Was
Yeah.
that like a moment of validation for yourself?
yes, I had very small moments of validation. 24 Hours is another character in person.
And that's Made in Tokyo's brother, right?
Made in Tokyo brother. Made in Tokyo, the same thing. Me and him are really great friends too.
I didn't know that.
My cousin Brody Brown, like, I'm talking about people who sold millions of records and people who made millions of dollars, who are giving me the platform to be myself and not saying, yo, do it like this, or hey, just come sing these backgrounds.
Right.
They're not putting any barrier around me.
It's huge.
They're just, exactly, it's very big for someone to say, I trust you 100%, do what you do, and we'll just do what we do after you're done.
Yeah, and it's so easy, so common in this industry for people to just use people, not give them their credit, not respect them. So
Put a box.
Yeah.
And
You
then
really,
Hit Boy,
yeah.
without saying too much, I asked Hit Boy for advice on the record, like, yo, Hit Boy, which route should I take? Should I take the route of a work for hire, or should I take the route of credit? Or he was like, no, I'm gonna give you credit and I'm gonna give you publishing. As a composer.
Jesus.
So
On King's Disease too.
On King's Disease too. And if you can imagine me in my position, come from nothing, I compose for Nas, and I can say that.
Right.
And I can mean that.
And a credit. You
And
actually
it's
have
real.
your name credited on that too?
My name is credited. You
Wow.
can Wikipedia it, Google it, whatever you want to do. It's there.
That's so crazy.
And you could go on what's that, Spotify, you can see the credits.
Yeah, exactly.
My name is right there, bro.
That's huge, man.
And that's big for me.
Yeah, a
That's
lot of people
validation.
do stuff and they don't, like, people don't even realize that that's even an option to get the credit versus this and that. Like,
Yeah, it's
you
not
know?
about money, man. It's not about money, especially coming up. I think once you make it and you establish who you actually are, and you have the right pivot to be able to move this way, move this way, move this way without really moving, because it's kind of coming to you.
Why do you think, like, I feel like you're saying, you're in these situations with people and people trust you. Why do you think people fuck with you? Because it seems like everyone fucks with you. Everyone that meets you. Do you think it's just like a likable personality? You think it's the talent? You think it's a mix of both?
I think it's a mix of more than that. I mean, one, favor from God. That's number one. God has to give you the blessings, right? Two, obviously I put in the work, the practice. I practice every day. I hardly release songs that I rap, hardly release hip hop songs, but I practice those songs weekly, daily. So you got favor, you got practice. Then you have likability. Like, yes, I'm very likable. I'm very outgoing and very relatable. Personable.
Yeah.
I feel like your homie, even though I have all these accolades and blah, 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 blah. No matter who it is, big or small, I'm always your homie. I'm never thinking too high or low of myself. And I'm never gonna make you feel too high or low of yourself. So if I get, only people I'll probably freak out about is Michael Jackson and Kobe, and they both gone. So I don't know who else I would freak out about.
Mm-hmm.
them the only two people I will ever freak out if I'm in the room with. And I've been in a room with almost everybody. You know, obviously not everybody, but I've been around people same as far as I am away from you, and you is as far as I've been away from Jay-Z and Beyonce and LeBron and all these different people. And it's not a freak out moment. So being personable, making them feel human.
Right.
Getting in a room with Nas and not, yo, I'm such a big fan. Nah, bro, I respect you. And you changed the game. And I'd love to pick your brain. Me and Nas had like a 15-minute conversation just about what I asked him a question, very important question. Because a lot of people go in the room and they ask the dumbest questions. Like, dang, Nas, what was you thinking when you recorded? I'm like, no, he don't care about that. I asked him, what would you tell Nas if Nas was where Garren is right now with a legend like Nas? And whoever watching might have to run that back. Because it sounded so weird.
Yeah, no,
but if you put yourself in my shoes and you was with a Nas.
Like he looked up at Cool G Rap and them type of guys. Like he knew what you meant right when you asked that.
He knew exactly. And he said, wow, that's a great question. And he sat there and talked to me for 15 minutes. We was in the kitchen of the studio. So that's where personable come from. Because I didn't make him feel like, oh, it's just this fanboy right here. Like, it was more like, oh, he's one of us.
Right.
He knows what's going on. That was a real question.
Right.
He's getting 99 questions about what he got on, what he wear, how much he spent on his chain, who he's signing next, who his favorite artist is, who he's looking at, what's new.
Right.
This was one person that asked him, if you was me and you was with a legend like yourself, what would you ask?
Right.
What would you do? And he answered me, he said, you already there, bro. Just by your question, you're already there.
Right.
And that's being personable and relatable to a person and really knowing how to socially penetrate, you know, other human beings. That's a key thing, social penetration.
Yeah, and I can definitely like speak for that because when I met you, shout out to Asia, I told her in our interview earlier that I thanked her for pretty much introducing us without her realizing. And that
I don't even remember she introduced us because me and you created a relationship
solely. Yeah.
That I don't even remember how we was introduced.
Right. Well, we were just at her event. It's not like she introduced us, but I was invited to her event. You were there.
Okay.
So I just, thanked her for always providing a place of great networking, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when we met, I remember like I had ran into you again like 2-3 more times, and that was when I seen you at Chike's thing. You're like, oh, what? Like,
shout out AZ Chike.
Shout out to Chike. Big facts. On our last magazine did our cover. He the GOAT. But yeah, when I seen you, you invited me to your show the next day. So me and our boy Brian went out to OC to the Garden Amphitheater.
Yeah, Amphitheater.
And it went crazy.
It went
with
crazy.
Fora.
Yeah.
And
almost sold out. Yeah, Fora. That's how me and Fora met too. And y'all was right backstage. We was, having a good time, drinking and politicking and.
Yeah,
that was right on stage with me. You know what I mean. But that's just being personable. I didn't treat you as if
I was just a media guy.
Oh, he's just some guy who wants to come. He got a photographer with him. No, I was like, no, bro. He's gonna have the all access. He's gonna be on stage when I go on stage.
Right.
And that was off of us not really being as locked in as we are now.
Facts.
But that's being personal. Because I would do the same thing for Nas that I would do for you.
Right.
I won't treat anyone differently. You get me?
Yeah, and you know what? You said something to me because even to that point, you was up in the like back end of the bleacher part, and you were like, "Oh, come up here!" Like you really kept me with you. And I said something to you up there. I just kept thanking you for inviting us out, and you said something to me like thank you for your energy. Like you need to remember, just kind of instilled in me like. You don't need to thank me OD for this. Like you're a good person. That's what you're supposed to be doing here.
You get to these places for that reason.
Right. And it's not what you're saying right now on this camera in this interview, it's not at all just to act. I've really lived that shit just becoming a friend of yours, and so it's just been cool to build that relationship.
Super real. My daughter's right here being loud a little bit. So I'm very realistic with life and music. I mean, but music is life, so it's kind of like one and the same, you know.
Did you have somebody that was kind of doing that for you, showing you the ropes, giving you opportunities?
My cousin Brody. His name is Brody Brown.
Was he was an
A's
artist?
Baby Entertainment. No, he is an artist. Now he's walked into this lane of being an artist, and I want to make sure we get small clips too, so I can tag the Hit Boys and the Brodies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll do some clips.
I'm already thinking this in my head though. It's funny, but
Absolutely.
yeah, my cousin. And you can keep that, by the way, me saying that I want to do this.
Yeah.
To me, I just love organic vibes, bro. I don't like to be like super professional.
Exactly.
I mean, I like to be super professional, but I don't like to be super like choppy and
Yeah, it doesn't need to be,
perfect.
like, robot, right.
Yeah, I hate perfection.
Right.
But even though I strive for it, but it's weird. But my cousin Brody, he produced every song on 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. This is who I grew up with.
He's 1500 as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he produced for Adele. He went diamond with Adele.
So in regards to the project, I want to know about like production. Like, do you have any go-to producers? Obviously 1500 and nothing.
Right.
But are there other producers, LA people, other people outside the city that you go to?
I love my brother Knock. His name is Knock. He's based in Atlanta right now, but he's from like the Bronx / Florida.
Yep.
He's a go-to. Big Fruit. He's from Mississippi. He kind of like birthed the whole K-Camp sound.
Oh, nice.
Him and my big brother JR, they was like the first people ever in history to make like 30 bands a month on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
Not Apple Music, but iTunes.
Yeah,
Before
What
it
is it,
was
99 cents?
Yeah.
They was making
Right.
they was making like 30 bands a month. So they was the first people to ever do that.
Right. Wow.
So he has a really he's really in tune with the sonics of like what sounds good. I got my friend, my big bro AP from Mississippi, which is Big Fruit's cousin. So if you can imagine, apple don't fall too far from the tree. So he sounds really great. My cousin Nick Smith, my brother Greg. I have a lot of go-to producers. I don't even tap into the go-to producers that I have too much because I want to be able to overpay them in a sense.
You don't want to keep using their beats and just like...
Yeah, I want to be like, okay, look, bro, we did this beat in 10 minutes, but I'm going to just pay you 10,000.
Right.
Because I'm so rich.
Right. For sure.
So I'd rather use them that way than we're going, you know, because we're going to have fun regardless, but it's like, I'd rather overpay you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a big thing when it comes to that.
Yeah. And then like features, are you doing features on the project or all solo or?
I have this silent rule with myself that I'm not doing no features really. Well, I've done some. And
Like for your project though? Type shit?
yeah, when it's
a
my
feature.
project, no, I'm not doing no features until I'm on, like super on. Then you can't say I'm such a competitor. You can't tell me somebody helped me get
You
on.
got on because of that feature, right?
No.
Yeah.
I got friends and I got huge artists as my friends, and I don't ask them for features.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of features in my files, but I never released them.
Yeah.
And I probably won't, because after a while the sonics won't sound the same based on the fact that music is always progressing.
Right. And yourself as an artist. Right.
All right, maybe I'll take the vocals and do a different beat or something. But I'm just not moved by using somebody's name.
Yeah.
I'd rather use my own name. You be like, dang, this dude is so dope. And then be like, yeah, and I also been friends with Davies.
Right.
Or I also been friends with BJ Chicago Kid. Or Buddy been my friend. We been made this beat 7 years ago.
Right.
You know Nipsey wrote Dedication 8 years before he put it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of Nip for a long time. So even just early in the Crenshaw days, you would hear him talking about Victory Lap.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was talking about Victory Lap for like 10 years.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me to hear that, but it's just crazy to see it. And I had no idea you were on that.
Yeah, Nipsey,
That's crazy.
I used to ditch school to work on the Crenshaw tape, but I never made it.
Damn. So that was your first time like landing a placement officially with him?
Victory Lap, yeah. It took me 10 years to do that.
Wow.
Took me
But
10
you
years
worked with
to.
him like in the studio a lot and shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and my
Like
cousin Nick
Paramount?
Smith. Nah, before Paramount, it wasn't like he wasn't the Nipsey that everybody see now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first met Nipsey, it was at 1500 or nothing. Well, when I actually first met Nipsey, he was passing out mixtapes when I got out of school in 9th grade.
Damn. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's when I first met Nipsey. He was like, who was this gangster dude?
So you remember
You
him
were-
actually
yeah, you
giving
remember
you
that?
Oh, yeah.
giving out?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He
Was it like the
passing out,
Bullets Got No Name mixtape?
yeah, it was some. I think it was Bullets Ain't Got No Name. I don't remember exactly, but he wasn't famous. He was just the dude from the city
Right.
that can rap.
And was hustling.
It was hustling.
Yeah.
And his brother Black Sam was selling like incense or like the little bottles of like not perfume, but you put them in like a pot. You burn the pot.
Yeah.
And then it creates a smell.
Incense or something. Yeah.
Oils, yeah. The
Oils.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
He
crazy.
walked to Louisiana from school and he was passing out mixtapes. That was in 2008. So he wasn't Nipsey in 2008.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
And
then
then
I was
how
with
do you-
1500,
Yeah.
and 1500 is definitely one of the leading pioneers to his sound
For sure.
in his growth and development in the game.
Right. Mike and Keys as well.
Mike and Keys, they were called the Futuristics at first.
Mm.
So when I got to 11th grade, I was ditching school to make the Crenshaw tape. Me and my cousin Nick would be in the back room. He had a studio on Olive in downtown, and he would be reading and smoking, and he would just let us blast the music. And I used to always think to myself, like, how is this dude focused reading while we're just in here just going crazy?
Right.
And then he probably knows in the back of his head he's not using none of our beats, but he was just so open, like, yeah, just create, go ahead.
Right.
And one of my big bros, Robin Hood, from around that neighborhood, he kind of, he the one who kind of got it started as far as like it being a business between me and Nip. Like, yo, all right, bro, come here and record, come really sit down, come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then over the years, I've been seeing him all the time. I mean, you know, Nipsey was family to me. You know, he became more than just somebody I see. It was just like family. He told me a lot of different pointers in life, and he helped shape the way I think
Yeah.
in a lot of different ways. And just that whole area, man, everybody over there, it's a lot more talent in that area, in that neighborhood that, I don't know, something about them, it just seems like they're a little bit more ahead
Yeah.
when it comes to like the business structure of product. And whether your product is selling plugs, selling extension cords, selling music, selling hair, like
Right.
they just a little bit, it's like a little, I don't know how to explain it. It's weird, it's an energy though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even never having met Nipsey one time, I was so influenced by him. So it helped shape the way that I think in a lot of different ways. In our company, Andrew founded UNDRGRND, completely created the magazine. I was an artist on the first mag. The way that I kind of helped become a real part of the business was creating this concept of selling our magazine with a ticket to our show to create this experience.
Yeah.
So yes, you could buy the magazine or read it online for free or whatever, but you could come to the show and buy it for $20 to experience that. Where did I get that idea? Totally from Nipsey doing the $100
Proud to Pay.
physicals. Yeah, the Proud to Pay. Just the whole idea of Proud to Pay. But the physicals where you could go get the Crenshaw for $100 a tape physical, or you could go stream it on Dat Piff for free. So that was the mentality that kind of brought that into me. And yeah,
It's dope. It's
you know,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a pioneer for a lot of businesses that are getting themselves off the ground right now. Nipsey definitely is he's a blueprint to a lot in life, and he will continue to be a blueprint for a lot of the world's history.
Facts, forever.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going anywhere, you know.
All right, there'll be somebody in 100 years that'll say they retired and they got their business model from Nipsey.
Right.
100 years from now, we'll all be gone, but
Right.
it'll be somebody saying Nipsey Hussle in 100 years for sure.
Yeah.
I have an album that I'm gonna drop. I don't know the name yet because it's very dear to me. And it talks about a lot of personal things. But I also want to give a shout out to my brother G.I. Joe OMG, who just passed not too long ago, and he means a lot to me, and I really love him, and I care about him, and I will always continue to just give light to his name and his talent and his sacrifices that he made to make great music and to build his brand and his business. And I just want to shout out G.I. Joe OMG from Los Angeles, California, Crenshaw and Slauson. And shout out to my mama for having me. And shout out to God, obviously, first and foremost, because I wouldn't be here without him. And yeah, man, I don't really care about what I got coming because I think it's so much more important things out there. And you know, when God gave me that platform and ability to just, you know, not have to talk about what I got coming, I'm not worried about it. But the album is dropping next year, top of next year, first quarter. But shout out G.I. Joe OMG. Love that dude, miss him, and I just want people to know his name and know that he, you know what I mean, he's gonna live forever. He's a legend. So yeah.
He's from LA?
Yeah, he grew up with Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, he has records with Nip, definitely. Mailbox Money, they have that record. Right?
Yeah, him and his Nip grandma and his grandma was next door neighbors.
Wow.
So they got pictures like about the age of my daughter, 4 or 5, riding bikes in the city.
Crazy.
So he's a real general, for sure. It's kind of how I want to end it. I shout out to him. Shout out to G.I. Joe.